All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and today is Sunday, March 9th, 2014, and this is the Trade Ideas post and video for the week of March 10th. We're going to start off and review a couple that we've had carryover from the last couple of weeks, and then talk about some ones we added last week, and then a couple of new ones for this coming week. All right, the first one is Las Vegas Sands. We had been in this for several days. Well over 10 days. We got out of half here on the 4th, and then we had a close below the prior day low here on Friday, so we went ahead and exited. So we were up plus 6.72 points on the entire trade, so that was nice. A good trade. Like to have a bunch more of those. All right, the second one we're going to look at is Twitter. Twitter, again, we were in from the 20th, February 20th, and it carried all the way on through here. And finally, after 10 days, this was the 10th day here, I tightened up the stop and said, if I get a break of the prior day high, I'm out. And it took me out on Thursday. Now, if I would have stayed with my close above the prior day high, I would have still been in, and then I would have benefited from this move on Friday. But that's the way it goes. I didn't like the fact that it really wasn't doing anything after 10 days. So I thought, okay, enough is enough. But anyway, that's so we were up 1.07 points from the entry on Twitter. So that wasn't too bad. Let's take a look at YOKU. Where is it? YOKU. This is one where we got in here on the 26th. 2 days, like actually the day before the day that they were going to come out with their earnings report, and then they came out with a great earnings report. It opened way up here, and I held the options and was hoping for a gap fill back down here, and it didn't get there. Exited at the close on this day. Probably should have tightened it and exited no worse than the close here. Let's see where we had, and then I think, well, we've got the results posted on the web page, but the options were down 70% on that particular trade because we got killed on that very first day. So, or when the earnings came out, and it was kind of hard to recover from that. All right, let's go and talk about some new trades from last week. Newmont Mining. This is one we got in on the 5th, and that one we talked about. The options I had suggested, again, this is a trade idea, I had suggested April 24 calls, and we got in here. Now we're sitting here, it's been 3 days, so we're kind of still monitoring this and see where it goes. I'd like to see if I've revised the target down a little bit. Currently have a target of 25.72. So that's where we're looking to see if we can't hit that. That'd be right up in here about the resistance in the top of the Keltner channel. And then we'll see what happens after that. So, and I always revise these. If I make any tweaks to the trade ideas in terms of the parameters or the trailing stops, that type of thing, I try to do that the night before. So worst case, in terms of your timing, take a look at something on the trade ideas page, first thing in the morning, like maybe 7:30 Central Time before the market opens. So you've got the chance to add or tweak something in terms of how you're monitoring the trade idea. All right, the next one we'll look at is Valero. Here we go. Yeah, okay, so this is one we got in at 50.86 on Thursday, and that just kept moving up all day long, just kept exploding. So that was very, very nice. Now, again, I have revised the targets, and it actually, based on my revised target, it got there on Friday. So my revised target's 53.40. It got to 53.42. So I did this revision this weekend, and so now I'm saying, okay, I'm going to take off half in the morning. So I'll look to see how it's trading first thing. A lot of times it's not very liquid in the first 15 minutes, so you got to be careful in terms of what you're doing. It depends on the stock. Facebook, some of those are just going to be tremendously liquid, but Valero may not be. So you have to watch how the trading's going in that first 15 minutes to 60 minutes. But that's what I'm looking to do. Excuse me. And then let's see. And then I talk about the trailing stop. What we clearly would do here is we take off half the calls. And then the other half of the calls break even at worst. Okay, so that means that the initial buy was at $2.78. So that means as soon as a bid on those options gets to $2.78, you're out. Okay, you're not going to take a loss on your second half after booking a profit on your first half. And the other scenarios I'm saying, either that stop on the options or on the stock itself, if we get a confirming close, like a close below the blue line and then a close below the low of that low, that's when I would exit on the option, the second half of the options also. So it's going to be an either or, whichever happens first. But in no way do we want to take a loss on the second half of the options once we're already booking profit on the first half. So that way we can kind of lock in and have at least have a profitable trade. All right, the next one we want to look at is Freeport-Mcmoran. Where is that? Okay, so this is when we got in. We had our stop, and then it just, on Friday it just opened down and just kept hammering down all the way, and we had hit our initial stop, 22.43. So that we were definitely, and on that one, the options we got in. I'm trying to look to see when we got in. I think we were down 53%, 53.5% on the position. And again, the details are on the trade on the web page. So, but took a 53% hit on the option position based on what happened in hitting the stop, which was down here at 32.43. So I don't know where that's going. That was kind of a surprise. We broke nice trend lines here. This was starting to curve up. I thought we were going to get the up move, but again, you just never know, and that's why you have to have a stop. All right, the next one, U.S. Steel. We've got a trade idea in here. Remember, I talked about how we were getting bullish divergence in here on the indicators. Okay, they were not going to new lows with the push on the price. Okay, and as a result of that, we were looking to try to get in, and we got this close above the 10-day exponential. And my entry point, 25.53, did not get hit on Friday, so I'm looking to just keep that in place and see if we can get entered tomorrow. So that's the play on U.S. Steel. First Solar, new trades for this coming week. Of course, U.S. Steel is still in play. First Solar, again, we're getting negative divergence on First Solar here on demand index, RSI, and on DI plus, the blue line, we're getting negative divergence. So because when it went up and rallied back up to this high after this huge end, we're getting divergences in here. Now we got this close below the 10-day. So I'm looking for a sell entry at 55.16. That's why we're looking for a sell on this. And so the option I'm looking at is an April 60 put, has a delta of 0.61. So we'll look to see about that. The closing bid and ask on that was 6.3 to 6.5, so they're a little rich, and we'll just have to see how that works out. We've got the target details on the web page also. And then the last one I wanted to talk about was Pandora. And again, Pandora, we're getting negative divergence. Look how this final rise up in here is not getting confirmed by the indicators at all. So when you start to see that and it keeps pushing, and then I get the closes below the 10-day, now I'm saying, okay, show it to me. You take down below. If you hit 36.20, we closed 37.15. If you hit 36.20, I want to sell. And I would buy the April 40 puts. They closed, the bid and ask was 4.25 to 435. The delta is 0.63. So we'll take a look at those and see if this hits tomorrow. All right, that's it for the trade ideas for this coming. And then I've updated everything on the trade ideas page. What I'm trying to do is update that every night. So if something tweaks, something changes, and I haven't addressed it on a video, then I will have it on the web page. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great Monday, Tuesday. Take care.